Well, people love the Northeast, just like people love California. Every time I go to California, I'm just intoxicated by the weather and how they've got mountains, they've got desert, they've got beach. Like it's beautiful. But listen, this is March 31st, and tomorrow, April 1st, that mansion tax goes in. Why do you think 3 months ago, Mark Warburg, who's been in California for decades, it seems like, I know he's from Boston, Lisa, but he's Mr. Hollywood, and he left and went over to Nevada and built in Las Vegas because this mansion tax has been coming. I just walked down the hallway yesterday here in the Naples office and heard an agent who deals in that 5 million up price point on the phone. And he's like, well, they got to close tomorrow or Friday. He's talking to somebody from California coming to South Florida. So making that move from California all the way to Florida, and they're trying to beat this mansion tax. And so if California continues, policies like that, and if the Northeast, can't figure out a way to, really reduce taxes, or maybe not necessarily reduce, but not increase taxes, you'll continue to see this exodus. What I'm seeing in South Florida and Naples specifically is you do have this consistent trickle of boomers coming in. That what I think accelerated during the last couple of years was families coming down here, and
Hmm.
now that the schools in the Northeast have calmed down and gotten their act back together, and schools in other areas have like gotten back to educating children, that has slowed down. But the boomer thing has not slowed down. That has been steady and consistent for years, and I see it remaining probably for the next 10 years. It'll be
Uh,
interesting when we're 15 years out, what'll happen to South Florida inventory when some of the boomers are actually phasing off of planet Earth. That's the interesting inventory conversation for places like South Florida.
They can sell me with their place at a discount. That sounds great. I'm in.
I do think, because you mentioned it, Tom, at the top of this discussion here, quarter three, quarter four, and how quarter two is where you really make your hay. As we go into quarter two here, I want to make clear to anyone who's listening who is an agent, a broker, or team leader, that I would be very conservative in my thoughts around quarter three and quarter four, and I'd really try to not take any time off in quarter two. I think quarter four could look even scarier than this year's past quarter four did, than 22 quarter four did. And so just a reminder that, yeah, quarter two is looking good. Don't get too high on your own supply about quarter two. Take advantage of the next 90 days to the fullest and be conservative when thinking about the end of the year.
100%. Financially, I think business wise, right? Looking at expenses, both personally and within your business, I think it's going to be absolutely critical.
Okay, and we've seen that historically. I mean, this is nothing new in the northeastern market specifically. Is that you get into the winter and there's just less homes to sell. Even you get into August, that's a really slow month. Everyone's going on vacation, kids are going back to school, and a lot of people were misled by the COVID white hot market that we were into. Where I mean, I don't even remember like taking like any time off at the end of 2020 or 2020 because it was just go go go. There was like a little break around the holidays, and that was about it. I don't know what you two saw.
Well, in Pennsylvania, you had half the year off. So why would you take time off at the end of
We
the?
didn't. I didn't have half the year off. Maybe some of the other agents did. It was 60 days to be exact, thanks to our man Tom Wolf here. So all that in mind, though, this is what normally happens, and we've all talked that strong markets create weak skill sets. It's not going to be like there's always deals to be done. Don't get me wrong. You can still do business, and
4.5 million, 9 million sides this year.
yeah, there's always deals to be done every month of the year. But you're going to be foolish, Byron, to your point, to think I'm going to be able to keep up my March and April and May sales pace 12 months out of the year. And one of the most effective business plans I've ever seen, I got this from my dad, and he's like, all right, here's your 12 months. How many deals are you going to do each month? And the answer isn't an even split. So if your goal is 24 homes, it's not two a month. That's not how it goes. It's you got to stack up 3, 4, 5 deals in the month of April, 3, 4, 5 deals in the month of May. You got to be looking at June 30th. You got to have 60% of your business booked and pending at a minimum to hit your goals. That's where you want to be come July 4th weekend when everyone goes down the Jersey Shore. They're lighting off fireworks, celebrating America, drinking your spike seltzers. You got to have 60% of your business booked by June
That's
30th.
That's exactly right. There's a table that I use, and you can make one of these tables in off of your MLS because it might be different. You know, like December and January in Naples are obviously different than December and January in a place like Connecticut or Massachusetts or something like that. So you can go into your MLS and figure out over, you know, and I may skip over 2020 and maybe even
I would.
2021.
You have to go
It's
back to
bad.
2018 or 2019,
Yeah,
without a doubt.
so maybe look at like you know a 5 year average of you know 2013 to 2018. Those are pretty normal years, or 2014 to 2019, something like that. And then you can just figure out the percent of transactions each year in each month. And so I've done this in our markets up in Connecticut. January 6%, February 5%, March and April 7%, 7.5%, and then you go May, June, July are 9, 11, and 10.5%. Now those are closed transactions, which means the work is happening you know a few months prior because we're talking about you know I could have run this pendings as well, obviously August 11, September 9, those are like June pendings, right?
Hmm.
And then October, November, December 8, and then in the sevens. And so to your point, that gives you a perspective of like where the work has to come. It needs to be front loaded, and Q2 you know is going to be an opportunity for everybody. Before we jump off here, guys, I'd love your quick thoughts on the commission lawsuit now being class action. Obviously, it started in 2019. Now it's officially a class action lawsuit. This is huge. Bright MLS, Tom. Are you Bright?
Yes.
Bright MLS is named in the class action. Any thoughts?
Lisa, why don't you go first? I got some thoughts on this, but I want to hear. I
Oh,
want to hear
Tom's been he's probably been muzzled. Go ahead, Lisa.
Well, I mean, we've all known it was coming, right? Like, I think all the signs were indicating that it was heading this way. I think a lot of what we're talking about here is that it's super important that agents be aware of what's going on, that we keep it in our thoughts that there will likely be some changes to what happens in the industry. I don't think we're going to feel those changes this year, next year, or the year after, though I think we're going to, I think I said this a couple of weeks ago, we're starting to see some of it slide in listings here. I think 2 weeks ago, my agents came to me with two different listings where there was no buyer agency commission offered. And there was a disclosure that said it was on the buyer agent to negotiate directly with their client for their own compensation. And I think that that's what we're going to continue to see. But I don't think over the next 12, 24, probably even 36 months that that's going to be a colossal shift. But I think we all need to be prepared that we've got to start increasing our skill set to get there, and that it's just going to further lead to the commission compression that we all already feel.